We are live. We are live for
Woot,
Campus
woot, woot,
Connection.
woot.
It is, can we still say a brand new season?
I
Yeah,
think,
it's second show.
yeah.
Yeah, we can put it that way. But welcome to Campus Connection, brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust. You know, trust where skill is power. And we are so very excited that you are with us this evening. I am Jonathan Fletcher, and with me is my co host.
Anesta Samuels. And as always, it is such a pleasure to be here. Just before we give you the rundown of today's show, let's hear a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Love it.
We are the campus minds. Students are step up in a pride.
All right. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, on today's show, we have quite an interesting topic for you. As you know, or you may not know, who knows, it is Earthquake Awareness Month. And we want to talk to some experts, some persons who will help us to understand how to really be prepared for an earthquake. Because there are lots of there are lots of things that we know to do, but when for some reason when an earthquake actually comes, all of that goes through the window. And
Gone
so
completely.
it's always good to keep these things before you, to keep you reminded. And we're looking forward to that discussion. But just before we get there, we do have our I Chose Christ feature, which will be by Mr. Daniel Dixon, a Michael University College student. And before that, we will have our honor roll segment. I'm looking forward to this one because we're talking with Miss Danae Jones of the UIMONA. And she is a big time marketing student. And, I'm excited. I think Jonathan might actually have more to talk with her about than me, but I still want to hear from her. And of course, we have education news and bulletin. Jonathan, you did marketing, right?
Absolutely. So I'm definitely looking forward to speaking with Danny. I mean, all of our guests, of course, but you know,
Certainly.
when you come on to the marketing part, I'm there for that. I am absolutely there for that. But we do
Mm,
have a very exciting show lined up for our campus sites, a very interesting one.
mhm.
One that is very important as well, as you rightfully said earlier. A lot of the times when earthquakes happen, all the information that we would have been taught over the years,
Through
it
the
seems as
window.
if, them just gone. Right. But I'm hoping that after this show, it will be solidified. Right. So
Yeah.
we will be more prepared and actually do what we need to do. So we're definitely looking forward to
Mhm.
that. Right about now, we're going to go straight into our education news and bulletin. And this will be done by Miss Eden Palmer, President of the UTech Journalism Society.
And bulletin for Tuesday, January 14, 2025. 16-year-old Immaculate Conception High student leads feeding initiative. Sharnay Brown and her team provided about 100 meals to homeless people in the corporate area on New Year's Day. Brown reported that despite the challenges, she managed to pull through with the help of her counselor Tasha Shrub, school principal Stacey Wilson Reynolds, parents, and relatives, making her fourth year of giving to the needy a success. Brown quoted that she didn't have any major sponsors, but with God, bigger and better things are yet to come. The grade 11 student told news sources that the street people she interacted with, although initially strangers, are now folks she has come to know, highlighting that even though she is small in stature, she can really make a big impact in Jamaica and the world at large. She also plans to visit a children's home. Brown, in 2023, was a recipient of the Children's Advocate Recognition Award. She was among other awardees hailed as extraordinary children from various disciplines who were honored for impacting lives of Jamaican children over time. Children's advocate Diane Gordon Harrison cited Brown for her feeding initiative. JTA threatens court action over forced retirement of teachers. President-elect of the Jamaica Teachers Association, JTA, Mark Malava, is crying foul, claiming teachers are being forced into retirement before the time stipulated on the law. He insisted that based on the law, teachers are to officially retire at age 65, but are being pushed to retire earlier. According to Malava, the JTA will be taking the matter to court by the end of January if the government doesn't yield. Based on their interpretation, they're sending off persons on retirement when they have not yet reached the age of 65. Based on the schedule of the Act, as of July 2023, the age of retirement should be 65. The government has not yet honored such, and we are looking to file an injunction against the government and take the matter to court, seeking a judicial review, having had discussions with the Ministry of Education, Malava reported. Malava explained that based on the interaction with the JTA members, the teachers feel they are being slighted, noting that teachers would have made plans in terms of mortgages, car payments, everyday living. Several of them would have been negatively impacted. It is really having an adverse effect on some of our members, and for us, our position is that if our members want to go on early retirement, the facility is there, but they must not be forced to go off early. And now for the bulletin. The UTEC Students Union invites you to Hours of Worship, the Reconnection, on Saturday, January 25 at 6 p.m. at the Students Activity Center on UTEC's main campus in Papine. Come experience heartfelt worship, prayer, and a fresh encounter with God. Admission is free. Invite your friends and family, and let's reignite our hearts in worship. Shortwood Teachers College, an internationally recognized tertiary institution producing quality individuals equipped to impact the world, is now accepting applications. All interested persons must apply online by visiting their website at www.shortwood.edu.jm. For further information, you can call 876-924-1095 or 931-9489. You may also send a WhatsApp to 876-803-1439. Students Christian Fellowship and Scripture Union warmly invites you to our fellowship breakfast on Saturday, February 8th, 2025, under the theme Thriving Together for a Bright Future. Join us for a time of connecting and fellowship. We will also be hearing from our guest speaker this year, Dr. Krish Kandaya. We look forward to seeing you there. For more information, you can contact our SCFSU offices island-wide. Kingston, 876-977-5886, Mandeville, 625-1199, and Montego Bay, 971-0685. This was your news and bulletin for Campus Connection on Tuesday, January 14th, 2025. I am Eden Palmer. Stay connected to the family station right here on Love 101.
All right, you just heard from the big bad president of the UTEC Journalism Society, Miss Eden Palmer, reading the education news and bulletin for us. And I want to just encourage everyone, if you haven't already done so, we're about 10 minutes into the show. Please hop on to our live stream. We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, on TikTok at Love 101 FM Jamaica. And you can also reach out to us on WhatsApp. The number is 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. We want to hear from you. What would you do in the event of a massive earthquake? What would you do? Jonathan?
I'm hoping that I'd actually do something.
Yeah.
That's what I am
I'm
sincerely
not just
hoping that.
like with your hand on your head,
You
like,
know,
oh,
out
no.
of shock. You're just like, okay, what's going on? I'm sincerely hoping that I would actually, go under the doorpost or something, just something,
Something that
but
we
yeah,
learned.
please, please. But we do want to hear from you. 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. What would you do in the event of a massive earthquake? Please let us know in the comments. Let us know via WhatsApp. We're going to go straight into our honor roll segment with Miss Danielle Jones from the UM Mona. She is 19 years of age, currently attends UA and is pursuing a BCS in marketing. I'm hoping to embark on pursuing a double major in accounting. As a young Christian, she trusts in God's perfect will for her life and tries to make no decision without his approval. Danny is a Burger King as well as a Best Dressed Chicken scholar. Hello.
My,
In
my.
addition, interacting and talking to people interests her. Thus her choice of career path. Danielle thrives to achieve greater heights regardless of any roadblocks. She attended the St. Catherine High School and completed her CSEC and CAPE subjects, where she then received her CAPE diploma. She's very fun, jovial, and she's looking forward to greater things ahead. Danny, greetings and welcome to Honor Roll here inside Campus Connection.
Welcome. Welcome to the show.
Danny? All right, we're trying to connect with Danny. We're really looking forward to the conversation with her. But while we figure out the technicalities, let's jump straight to a break. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Please. Imagine getting home after a long day and it smells so amazing that it makes you smile. Try Febreze Plus, an air freshener that delivers continuous scent for up to 50 days when you plug it in low mode. Indulge in wonderful scents for weeks with Febreze.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Contagious Worship in Christ production presents Relief Gospel Concert in the Garden, best of the 90s and early 2000s, hosted by Oprah Williams with Rycar, Perpetual Sounds of Praise, Lord Dance Ministry, DJ Mark Testify. Sold 3,000 at the gate, 3,500. Children 12 and under, 500. Tickets at Properly Guided or online at spheropen.com/release 2025. 876-392-9281. Melodies from Heaven, best of the 90s, 7 p.m. Friday, January 17. Police officers clarity for Hope Road.
Love 101 invites you to listen for coverage of the activities of the National Leadership per week and per breakfast. The theme for the 45th annual staging is Righteousness Exalts a Nation. The week of prayer from Thursday, January 9 goes through to Thursday, January 16 with daily prayer purpose, which will be shared on Love 101 FM throughout each day. Join us on Thursday, January 16 at 7:30 a.m. as we will bring you the live broadcast of the National Leadership per breakfast from the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Listen for the program Forward in Faith, brought to you by the New Testament Church of God in Bayside, Portmore at 7 a.m. More prayer, more power. Activities will be live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
All right, welcome back to Campus Connection.
Good. It's good to be back, and we just wanted to welcome our honor roll guest, who we've already read her resume, but I mean, Miss Danae Jones of the UEMONA, pursuing marketing, and then she wants to add to that, She wants to add to that. She wants to do
Yeah.
accounting. and
But
she's a
Martin isn't
scholar.
enough, you know.
I
Yeah.
mean, I would have thought one major was sufficient, but here we are. She's a best dressed chicken scholar, Burger King Jamaica scholar. So, Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Nay Jones, welcome to the show. Welcome to Honor Roll.
Danny? All right. Unfortunately,
Oh.
there seems to be some technical difficulty. I was really looking forward to this conversation. We may have to continue in the show until this is sorted. Hopefully, we'll get to talk to her before the show is out or possibly next week. But I really would want to hear about Danny's journey. But we
Oh,
have to
darling.
continue. Yeah. But yeah, welcome, welcome back to Campus Connection. Campus Connection is brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. So, if you are so looking forward to, upskilling, you're trying to add value to your professional life, Heart is a wonderful place to, get that done. So that is absolutely important that you check out Heart NSTA Trust. Right? Make sense? Good.
Makes sense.
Great.
Makes sense.
We're going straight into our I Chose Christ feature, and this will be done by Mr. Daniel Dixon, English language and literacy student at the Michael University College.
Praise the name of Jesus, everyone. My name is Daniel Dixon. I'm a second year education student at the Michael University College, majoring in language and literacy. And I am here to share my wonderful testimony of how the Lord has just been so gracious, so marvelous, and just so awesome. So I remember my transition from high school to university. That year, the last year in high school was one of the most difficult years that I've had at my high school, and I learned a lot of things. I had a lot of experiences. I had a lot of backlash. I had a lot of just overall lot of stuff happening, and I did not expect certain things to happen, but without going into any detail, the Lord opened my eyes, to be more alert, assertive, and also to use discernment in certain, instances, certain scenarios, certain circumstances, just to use my discernment and to fully trust Him. I remember when I was filling out that Michael University application form, I had a lot of persons in my ear telling me not to go to Michael. A lot of persons were discouraging me, saying that Michael is not the best place for me to go to. Michael is honestly having a lot of issues and a lot of different stuff. And based on my gifts and my abilities, I almost gave in to all those influences. But I had already received the word of the Lord that Michael is where I'm supposed to be. So I filled it out and I applied and I was accepted. I remember getting that email and the joy that flooded my soul when I saw the email that I was accepted. So I could finally relate to when watching the movies and the characters being accepted to university, getting the university letter and jumping off a jar. I can relate to that though. Amen. So during my registration process at the Michael University, I faced some struggles that I did not expect again, and it turns out that what I was accepted for was no longer being given in terms of I would no longer be able to pursue that specification, that specialization, and I just trusted the Lord. I prayed and I said, God, you sent me for the ear, so and I am here. Whatever you want me to do, I will do it. And it turns out that He just worked it out where I was able to, go to do English instead of music, which was my specialization before, and a lot of things were happening, and I just trusted the Lord. And here, it is not an easy road because the courses are somewhat a little bit more difficult, and then there are more on the theoretical point of view, and I am more of a practical learner, but I'm still trusting the Lord. So I am here to tell you that throughout my circumstances, throughout my experiences, I chose Christ, and you should too.
All right, you just heard from Mr. Daniel Dixon, a Michael University College student, and he was reminding us of why he chose Christ and why we should too. Now, we've been trying to get Miss Danae Jones on the line. I hope she's on the phone with us now because we really want to get a few words in before we have to go to our next break. So, Danae, are you here? Are you with us?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, finally. Welcome, welcome.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Hi.
evening. Welcome to the show, Danny. Um, yeah, it's good to have you. It's good to have you with us this evening. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I was speaking, but I'm not sure why you guys was not hearing me. But I am here now. I am good. I'm ready to talk. Yeah.
Awesome. So Danae, you're a marketing major and you're trying to add another major to that. Tell us a little bit about why, first of all, are you, in your right mind? You sure? You sure?
Well, let me tell you something. I love marketing, because as I said, I describe myself as a very fun and interacting person. I like to be persuasive, and not only that, I know what it's like to be in the field. Like, you sell to people interact because my mommy I'm a single parent. I'm a part of a single parent. My mommy sells in downtown Kingston, and normally like holidays or stuff, I would have to help her. So I think informally I have a little experience in the field, and I really like it. However, on the other hand, I think I can do the accounting. It's not that I like it, but I can do it. So why not be flexible?
Mm.
That's
That's
why.
quite an interesting take. It's even more interesting to me because usually when I meet marketers, they are a part of the creative, movement, if you will, and they don't necessarily like numbers. So you
Mhm.
pairing numbers with marketing, although there is a big part of marketing that has to do with data and how you interpret it and all of that, but to get into like actual numbers, that's quite interesting. Which leads me to the next question. Based on what you have seen so far, being a university student, coming through high school, what do you think about the marketing landscape now? Especially, well, I'm assuming that you would have experienced, online classes, right?
Well, not necessarily because I'm currently in my first year, so I literally just finished the first semester. No, I soon will
Okay.
embark on second semester. So as it relates to the marketing, we don't really get down in our nitty yet
Yeah.
until
Mm-hmm.
year two. Year one is that basic courses that almost everybody, not everybody, but in the faculty take.
Hmm.
Got it. Okay, but you know though, without a shadow of a doubt, even if you don't go into accounting, marketing is what you want to
Yes,
do.
definitely. That's me. I love that. Yes.
Okay.
So tell us how you have been able to achieve the level of success that you have. You're just 19, but yet you are the best dressed chicken scholar. You're the Burger King Jamaica scholar. How have you been able to do this at just 19 years old? What's your strategy?
Well, firstly, you never leave God out of anything, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, I'm a young Christian, so no matter what, I try to keep Him in the midst of everything I do. And as well as I study, why not? Study hard and I utilize resources that I have available, no matter what. If it's books, teachers, time or stuff on my own time, I try to utilize that and try as much as possible to have like a schedule, a time schedule where I keep, because with me, if it's not in order, straight out the window. I'm going to get frustrated. And then for everything, all of those, qualities just come together and make me who I am today.
That's powerful. Absolutely powerful. And how has your family helped in ensuring that you remain focused? You mentioned earlier about your mother,
Mom, yeah.
being a vendor downtown. What was your upbringing like, and what is it like currently, as relates to your support system?
So I would say that's one of the things that would like push me, because I know that my mommy, she doesn't really have it, and if I know that I can achieve good grades per se to get an opportunity like that to become a BK scholar and a best scholar, why not? So no matter the obstacles, no matter the the roadblocks, I always push to achieve.
And I notice you keep saying no matter what, and you keep referencing roadblocks in your life. And I just wanted for you to, if you're comfortable, to share on just maybe one of those roadblocks that you've had to overcome in order to be successful.
Well, sometimes things don't go as planned. Sometimes I remember recently when I was doing my CABE subjects, my unit 2, the last set, I fell ill, and I said, well, I'm not going to put up them exams for me. So it's either me to get better, get fit, and study, or me to just do that. And I pushed, sometimes themselves health before wealth, which is true, but I knew that no matter whatever it was, I still had to overcome however I was feeling, and try to get my body in a good shape as possible. And with that, I strive, I pushed, and I did. And I achieved 2-1 with a profile, period, and I got in CAPE unit 2. Yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, we're so very proud of you, and we are very excited to see what the future holds for you. With that being said, do you have anybody that you'd want to shout out? Anybody you want to hail up?
Well, I would say I want to pick up my mommy. Anywhere she's right now, big her up. Her name is Julian Brown. I also want to big up my church family. I am very appreciative of their help, the encouragement. And shout out to BK Burger in Jamaica, anywhere, and Best West Chicken, because they saw the opportunity to invest in my, education, my future, and to, offset some of those financial burdens, because you don't cheat, trust.
Yeah.
So I just want to shout out to all of them and big thanks straight.
Wow. Thank you so much, Danae. We really appreciate you coming on, and just keep that same motivation that you have. Just keep that. And even just your love for God is coming through, and we want to encourage you to continue.
Thank you. Thank you.
Powerful.
Really appreciate it.
Absolutely powerful. Wow, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Danae Jones, wonderful young lady who, in spite of her challenges, she is pushing and she's doing everything necessary to really, do all that she can. Powerful story right there. We'll have to take a quick break, but as usual, please stick and stay with us. We'll be right back after these messages.
The time bikers could move is.
Do I hang up now? Thank you for having
6 p.m.
A credit card is far more than a piece of plastic connected to an account that provides an easy way out when you're short on funds. A credit card allows you to make digital payments that can help you meet personal or business expenses. This is critical to remember. It is not your money. You have to pay it back in full and on time, or your credit will suffer.
This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
It's time to thrive. Get ready for the Women Ignite Success Summit 2025 on Saturday, January 25, Jamaica, Pickens, and Kingston. One full day of dynamic worship and powerful conversations on building kingdom wealth, business, marriage, finding purpose, and more. Featuring Prophet Christopher Belecki, Megan Ashley, Pastor Diane Fletcher, Dr. Sarah Lawrence Lewis, Dr. Shannon Ashman, and so much more. Women Ignite Success Summit 2025, January 25, Jamaica, Pickens, and Kingston. Get tickets at womenigniteja.com. Powered by Women Ignite Foundation, One Group, and other partners.
Ready to experience 6 times more freshness in your clothes? Try Downy Scent Beads. This fragrance is so amazing, you'll have to sniff it to believe it. Try Downy Scent Beads today. 6 times more freshness versus using detergent alone.
Okay, we are the campus nights. Students are stuck up in a pride.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. It is another lovely Tuesday evening, afternoon, and we are brought to you, of course, by the Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. And we just spoke with Danae Jones of the UEMONA in our honor roll segment, that was a really cool discussion. I love to see how our young people are advancing. And I don't mean to say our young people as though I'm not one of our young people. I don't mean to say it like that. Not quite like that. Okay. But
out of the abundance of the heart. Yes.
So it's Earthquake Awareness Month. And this is the thing. Whenever there's an earthquake, we tend to forget everything we learn in these earthquake awareness sessions. So this time I'm asking you, pull your radio a little closer, pull this live stream a little closer, remove some of the distractions, and let's just see if we can really cement in our minds what we're supposed to do when there is an earthquake. No. No, as you know, the Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth, and Information wishes to notify all of its stakeholders that Jamaica's geographical location is along the northern margin of the Caribbean plate, and that's an active seismic zone. So that means the island is susceptible to earthquakes and tsunamis. Against this background, the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, ODPEM, seeks to increase public awareness of this threat by engaging Jamaicans through a campaign under the theme, Prepare for the Quake, Reduce the Impact of the Shake, right? And tomorrow is in fact a designated day for school drills, and that has been scheduled for tomorrow, January 15, 2025. So let's welcome our guests who will be here to just kind of help us prepare and get ourselves in a state of readiness for earthquakes. Miss Brianna Chanteloup, the head girl of St. Catherine High School, Mrs. Novia Drummonds Morgan, the ODPEM regional coordinator for the Southern region, and Mr. Collington Powell, the principal of Innswood High School. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. All right. So I think this is the best way to start this conversation. Earlier, we asked our listeners, our viewers, very important question. We asked them, what would you do in the event of a massive earthquake? And so I did a quick research just to refresh my memory as relates to the last known earthquake that I wouldn't say hit Jamaica, but the one that we felt. So it's recorded on the 23rd of Monday, December 23, 2024 at 1 a.m. Right? So most people would have been sleeping, most people would have been, retired to bed. I'm trying to remember if I felt anything. I doubt that strongly, but it happened, right? And it
Oh,
was
you're one of
actually,
those sleepers.
yeah, it was a 6.1 magnitude
Mhm.
earthquake, which I find a little frightening, in all honesty, at that hour of the morning. But to bring our guests in, the question therefore would be, what are some of the benefits of knowing about earthquakes? Both knowing about what to do and knowing about, how they happen, stuff like that. Mrs. Drummond Morgan, we'll start with you.
Okay, thank you for that question. All right, so what are the benefits of knowing about earthquake? The truth is that whether you know about it or not does not, it's not going to stop the earthquake. It's coming and there's no stopping it. And the challenge is it's not like a hurricane where you can't say, okay, it's a mile away. It comes and it comes sudden. So why do you need to know? Simply to protect self, to protect property and assets. And that's the main thing, protecting self first. So that's the main thing, to save lives is the main reason why you need to know about earthquakes. So you can save your life of your family members, friends, etc. Then you need to know. And one of the greatest hazard that I realize our vulnerability in our society is a lack of knowledge. Persons tend to be at risk for the simple fact that they just don't know what to do.
And Brianna, you're the youngest. What have you ever experienced an earthquake? And if you can recall, what did you do?
Okay. Hello. Thank you very much for that question. And yes, I have definitely experienced earthquakes. However, I might be like Mr. Fletcher because I tend to miss out on a lot of them. But apparently they did happen. The most recent one that I remember clearly would be last year, October, when we had the string of earthquakes.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Okay.
I was at school in the information technology lab. I was up there with two of my friends, and my friend suddenly the place started shaking. At first, we thought it was a student running up and down, but it was. It just started shaking, and all of a sudden, my friend pushed me and my other friend out of the way and ran under the table.
Oh,
So
wow.
I couldn't get to do much, but yes, at least I'm okay.
Yeah.
That is really something else. But I do remember that time. That was a very frightening time actually, because
It was.
it was really it was very consecutive in that regard. Based on what would have happened, and Brianna would have spoken about the fact that she was at school, right? I want to bring in Mr. Powell, principal of Inwood High School. Sir Powell, do you have some kind of plan as relates to earthquake? Well, it can't be before, but well, it could be before. But especially after. What happens at Inwood after an earthquake happens or during an earthquake?
Wow. Thanks so much. And good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Mrs. Drummond Morgan was very eloquent. To be told, even when you over prepare, plan and over strategize, when it actually hits, it's a different ball game. Incidentally, on Monday, we spent a lot of time speaking about earthquake and earthquake awareness week and so forth and so on. And I asked the question, I opened a serious kind of worms, asking, suppose as I speak, an earthquake should hit, what would we do? And everybody pretty much had a different reaction, different response. So, prepared nonetheless. But we have designated areas, assembly areas, and so on. Clearly, there's always a lot more work to be done in terms of sensitization and so forth. Tomorrow, we'll certainly give it some more highlight and that sort of thing. But we have areas clearly designated where persons should gather in the event of an earthquake. And like I said, on Monday, we really went through quite a bit of that. But like we were told, because it can strike at any time, you know.
Yes.
Unfortunately, sometimes these things become a 9-day wonder and people forget until the next.
So I wanted to pose this question to Mrs. Drummonds Morgan. Schools are, one of those high traffic areas, but there are a lot of other areas that have a lot of people that need to move in the event of an earthquake. What steps should be taken for those types of environments to ensure that, the hurt or the damage is minimal? Brianna just described how a friend pushed her out of the way to try to secure her own safety. What steps can be taken to ensure that, people are not just fighting on each other or hurting each other to protect themselves?
The truth is that just like what the principal said, tomorrow is a drill day for the schools. And one of the plus side about doing a drill is that it helps you to see some of the possible weaknesses, like when you have like bottlenecks, because everybody's going through one exit, and then you need to think about what are some of the weaknesses that you need to pinpoint. Because if something is going to go wrong, it can go wrong during a drill, it's anxiety attack, etc. It can go wrong where, I said, anytime you have an earthquake, you can't see what a real life situation is. And all these things are pretty much learning experiences for us to pick up what are some of the weaknesses that we need to pay attention to. The whole psychological effect that it can have on students. We cannot stop the earthquake. It's coming. Whether you're at home, you're at school, you're at work, it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is, regardless of where you are, you can still prepare. You can prepare before, you can have a plan during, and you can have a plan after. Knowledge, drills, all those things, doing your hazard hunt, look around in terms of what are the possible things that can fall and so forth that can create damages. All of these things are part of being prepared. So there are a number of things you can do prior to. And an emergency plan is one of the key things. If you don't have a plan, then you have chaos. And that's the key behind having a plan. A plan is to help to avoid chaos. Because everyone will pretty much know what is their role, whether it is on school property or the school committee, or if it's at home or church, it doesn't matter. Everyone knows that in the event that something does happen, this is my role. Why? Because it helps to alleviate the chaos if an event happens. And it normally does. So truthfully, the best plan, matter of fact, if we don't have a plan, we plan to fail. But our plan is only as good as it's testing. So a lot of schools might have an emergency plan, which they have never tested. So the only way to know how good your plan is pretty much to test it. Real life will test it, but sometimes you can just do a drill and test it as well.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. I sincerely hope that our listeners, especially our campus site, you're taking note as relates to the different things that can be done to help in the event of an earthquake, because it's very, very important. And Mrs. Drummonds Morgan touched on it earlier as relates to the psychological effect. Because I remember after the series of earthquakes late last year, a lot of people, the slightest shaking or the slightest movement that they experience, almost as if, cause them to go into panic mode. So it's very important to be prepared as relates to, earthquakes. But Brianna, based on your situation, being a student, what are some of the things that you think can really help to make sure that earthquakes, when they come, students are prepared. So I want you to think about that. But before you answer, we're going to go straight to a break, and then we'll be right back with more Campus Connection.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years, whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal. Growth has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose growth, you know you're making a good move.
Don't let freshness ditch you when you need it the most. Wash your clothes with Downy Softener to keep dazzling everyone around you from day to night. Try Downy Softener now.
Contagious Worship in Christ production presents Relief Gospel Concert in the Garden, best of the 90s and early 2000s, hosted by Oprah Williams with Rycard, Perpetual Sounds of Praise, Lord Dance Ministry, DJ Mark Testify. Sold 3,000 at the gate, 3,500. Children 12 and under, 500. Tickets at Properly Guided or online at spheropen.com/release 2025. 876-392-9281. Melodies from Heaven, best of the 90s, 7 p.m. Friday, January 17. Police officers Clarity for Hope Road. Okay, where are the campus nights? Students are stuck up in a pride.
Welcome back to Campus Connection. We are inside of our discussion on youth and earthquake awareness. And we want to remind you that Campus Connection is brought to you by the Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. And just before the break, we posed a question to Brianna. We wanted to know what are some of the things that she thinks can be done before, during, and after an earthquake. She's a head girl at St. Catherine High School, and we just wanted to hear from her perspective. So you can go ahead now, Brianna.
Okay, good evening, everyone, and thank you once again for that question. Some of the things I think that should be done before the earthquakes is to constantly remind the students of what they should do. Whenever we have earthquake drills or something, everybody is running out of place. It's complete chaos, even when it's not the actual thing. It's either the students act unstructured or chaotically during the drills, or they pay no mind to it and act as if it's just a regular thing. What I really do think that we should remind the students of what to do and reinforce the idea that it's important for serious situations that are indeed life-threatening. Also, I think we should let the students be aware of what to do, and also what to do in the absence of a teacher. Some of them, especially the grade 7 students, they are new and they're easily frantic. So I think they should be taught how to operate in the absence of a teacher, because in reality, a teacher will not always be there. During, I think, even especially an earthquake, while they're evacuating or whatsoever, I think the students should be mindful of one another. So usually, even though no matter how many times you will remind them of what to do, there's some students who get really shaken up, and there's some that get frozen with fear. So what I think is to reinforce the idea of, okay, if you're in a safe area, try to have someone in that safe area with you. Try not to leave anybody behind. A lot of times when we're running out, because everybody's frantic because the earth is shaking, there are people trampling over each other. I want them to be able to be like, oh, wait, no, we can't leave anybody behind. As long as you can help, do help. During the evacuation, like after, I want everyone to be mindful of the fact that they are aftershocks. They're aftershocks. There are mini tremors or whatsoever people may call them. So even though we're leaving and everyone may think that it's finished now, I want them to be able to be reminded of the fact that no, it's not necessarily finished. Don't try to continue on with your day. Head immediately to the assembly point where
Mhm.
it's safe. And if you're outside, get away from buildings or trees. So that is what I'd want the school to reinforce among the students.
So good. Those are some good points. Mrs. Drummond Morgan, you know, you're the regional coordinator for the southern region of the island. And I just wanted to know if you could give us some tips on preparing. It's I know it's tricky because many people still don't take the time to inform themselves of what to do. But you did mention some tips earlier. During an earthquake, what should we do and what should we not do?
Okay, so as I had mentioned before, um, you can prepare. There are certain things you can do with your home. Check your home first. Make sure in terms of the structure of the home itself. If there's a for an earthquake, it's not going to get less. It's more than likely will get bigger, or it will remain the same. So you check your home and you see how vulnerable your home is. You have meetings with your family to find out what would they do in the event that there's an earthquake. If you can't reach home, where would we assemble? Are we going to church, a community center, things like that? Or will we communicate with each other if the communication line is down? Because chances are you might not be able to get through a call, but you can get through with an SMS, things like that. So you have a meeting. Of course, you have a plan, which everyone should be aware of. All right, so that's just say before. And of course, during now, the fact of the matter is you do not, an earthquake is not fire. You don't run out of the building. You don't try and just rush out. It's not immediate evacuation. For an earthquake, right, we do the drop, cover, hold, drop to the ground, cover on a firm surface, not a glass table. Hold on to that covering so that in the event of earth movement, the covering remains. Just as Brianna said, if you're outside, you stay outside, go to crouch to the ground as low as possible. Of course, you are covering your head and neck. All right, so that's some of the things during an earthquake. Now, you do not move or come out of the building until after the earth movement, because what happens is that if you're trying to move while there's an earth movement, chances are something will fall and hit you and damage, etc. So you want to wait until after. Soon as it stops, you get out. For a drill, we don't have the lugs. Well, I know if you have faith like a mustard seed, you can move mountain, but I prayed no one is praying for an earthquake tomorrow. All right. So we simulate the earth movement with an alarm. And the alarm not be that of fire. It can be a whistle, it can be a horn, it can be a vuvuzela, and the earth movement, because we're in a moderate earthquake zone, you would blow it for between 20 to 30 seconds, which will simulate the earth movement. And then during the drill, you do your DCH or your brace at the door jam. And then after that 30 seconds, evacuate, just like fire, briskly. What you are following whichever directional sign, you're reaching the assembly area for your roll call. Nothing is perfect in our drill. We're not trying to find the perfect drill. However, the best time in terms of an earthquake is really 3 minutes. Because when we think about fire, you want to exit the building within 2.5 minutes. Within an earthquake, the time limit that has been set, 3 minutes, because of how fire spread, you want to get out. So those are just some things. You have your fire extinguisher, first aid kit. So when you reach on the grounds, whichever persons you need to attend to, you can do so. So that is during. After, just as Brianna said, there might be aftershocks. So what do? I'm not telling you that you should never go back into a building after an earthquake. No, that's unproductive. I'm saying before you go back into a building, depending on the magnitude of the earthquake, you want to just walk around and do a damage assessment, an initial damage assessment. If you had a crack, check the crack. Is it bigger? Look the same. If you look the same and if it wasn't a major quake, you can go back into the building right after. It can be a day after. There's no time that I can say that this is an aftershock. We can't estimate it. Can't guess it. So yes, you have to go back to class. Yes, you have to go back to work, as long as the structure is sound. So that's just some of the things, But in your plan, I always encourage, that in your emergency plan, have a contact number for a counselor, somebody who can offer psychosocial support. If there's no first aid, make sure you know where the nearest hospital or clinic is, things like that. That's why training is so important. Having staff, even students who are trained in terms of first aid, knowing how to assist and help each other, even help yourself. So all those things are an essential part of the whole preparing for the event. Because one point to note, 'cause I always get this question. Doing the DCH, does that mean that I'll be okay? The answer is no. You do the DCH just to make sure that whatever is falling, having that covering will kind of, it lessens the force of the impact.
Yes.
It's falling on you. That's why we do it. And we will read and we'll hear other things. There are a lot of best practices, but that is why we promote doing the DCH, that covering.
Understood.
So muscle and drills are really for muscle memory. Somebody will say that sometimes they idle and they joke and everything, but believe it or not, some of those persons who are joking, they're going to reach the door jam before you, and you wonder how they reach there before you, or they reach under the desk before you, and you wonder how this person reach, and they're always joking. In the instance of a real event, you might be surprised. These same persons, they will do it. Why?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that couple, you might panic, but after a while you realize they reach under the desk before anybody else. So
Absolutely.
that's purpose.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mrs. Drummonds Morgan. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's all about earthquake awareness. We want to ensure that you have all the information necessary. Remember that tomorrow is day for schools drills. That's tomorrow, Wednesday, January 15. Sir Powell, based on where you sit as principal, could you quickly tell us in short, what are some of the plans that you have for tomorrow?
All right. So like I said earlier, by the way, very rich information, and I'm very impressed with the wealth of knowledge shared. I think we have two awesome experts. So you're tomorrow is largely sensitization. We will not do our drills tomorrow. We think we need some more preparation time, but we'll just ramp up the sensitization, call different categories of staff together to reinforce where some of these assembly areas are, and then they get the routine going so that by end of week we can certainly have a drill.
Awesome. That sounds good. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for making it Campus Connection. It has indeed been a pleasure, and we sincerely hope that you learned a lot in today's show. The show was titled Youth and Earthquake Awareness. So we hope that next time you will do what is necessary and not stand in shock or sit in shock, right?
Right. And thanks so much to our guests for coming on. We certainly appreciate the wealth of knowledge that you've shared. I mean, I feel like I get it this time. I feel like I know what to do now.
Awesome.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Awesome. Next week, it's all about emerging careers. And then after that is financial literacy. So January 21 and then January 28. So we close out the month of January with financial literacy, which is very important. Start the year right, You know, some people say they start 2025 with an empty bank account because they want to have space for all the money that will come. So,
What?
I mean, yeah. But big ups to our team, Dr. Nadine Blair, Jermaine Johnson, Shania Smith, and David Sutton, Raquel Robertson, and of course, Ruth Lawrence, to our awesome guests. Thanks for making it Campus Connection, and to our sponsor, big up to Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. See you next week as we explore more things while going on campus. I'm Jonathan Fletcher.
And I'm Minister Samuels. We'll see you next Tuesday.
be a man. Got to be a man.
On the next episode of The Mailbox, we'll take a deep dive in the world of